Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, Patsun, and today we're going to be taking a look at r/slash relationship advice, where we have yet another example of why girls' nights out is just a sorry excuse for them to cheat. Let's begin. My kids constantly choose my husband's girlfriend over me, and he won't intervene. How can I get him to back me up? Posted by Reddit user Throw Our A Area.
My husband and I were together for 8 years before having our first son, and things changed drastically after we became parents. My desire level died because of exhaustion, being a new mother, etc. Although he did help a lot, I just never got the same level of desire back, and after the second son, we had to have a conversation because it was becoming a major issue. I really didn't care about sex anymore, although I was willing to go along with it. There were some lines I drew that I hadn't before. He came out as a furry a year into our relationship and I went along with it. But after children, I decided that it made us incompatible and I didn't want to partake in it anymore. And I suggested if he wanted more sex and someone who was willing to pretend to be various animal characters, he get a girlfriend. He found one after about a year online, and although I did initially suggest it, I wasn't happy. I didn't believe that he could find someone because he has ADHD and might be slightly autistic. She is very eccentric and according to her parents, she is diagnosed autistic, but she is a very sweet woman and gets along with everyone. After a while, I agreed that she could move in with us and things were going well, but over the last 2 years there have been a lot of issues that I don't like. 1. Husband spends more time with her than with me, and they send each other cutesy texts, which he never does with me. 2. Her parents are well off and buy my kids expensive gifts that make my parents, and to a lesser extent his parents, their real grandparents, look bad. 3. The kids seem to like her more than me sometimes. For example, she spends a lot of time teaching them how to draw, which especially our oldest son loves. 4. She wears animal accessories in public. Last week, we had a snapping point where we went out for lunch after picking up the kids for school, and I suggested we go to get haircuts for the kids and then go to the specialty cheese shop that is in the mall where the hairdressers are. My husband wanted to go to the comic book store instead, and girlfriend agreed as she wanted to get a bobblehead. I asked the kids directly if they would rather go with me or girlfriend, and they both chose girlfriend. It just seems as if I am falling out of favor with my husband and kids, and I want advice on how to reverse this. Since we are married, I expect my husband to back me up on issues like this. How can I make that happen? Edit. Wow, I wasn't expecting this to blow up so much. For those of you who sent me supportive messages, thank you. From the comments and some messages, I get the feeling that this may not have been the ideal place to post this. I am going to repost to the poly sub as suggested by many as well. For those of you who have judged and blamed me entirely, I don't know what to say. I can't blame the lack of desire entirely on the kids, but it was a big part. I also feel that men do not have the right to a woman's body just because they are married. So I decided to not sell my soul by dressing up as various animals anymore and accepting being used. For those of you siding with my husband, I guess you don't agree with this, and all I can say is shame on you. For the many that acted outraged that I agreed to her moving in, she helped a lot. She is a nice person, and the issues have grown slowly over the last couple of years. The other red herring was the cheese shop versus comic book store. I understand it wasn't the best example, but it was the last straw in a long line of this kind of thing. The kids preferring to get picked up from school by Snow Vixen. The youngest even screamed at me one day when I picked him up and asked why he couldn't get picked up by Snow Vixen. The kids and my husband and the girlfriend all overruling me at night and watching Pokemon while we are all in the living room together after dinner. I really hate stuff like that, but they all unite against me. It's just the smallest things to the biggest things, and my husband almost never sides with me. TLDR, my husband and kids prefer his girlfriend to me, and I am getting upset and want to know how to get him to back me up.
So let me get this straight, OP. You invited a lovely autistic furry weave into a polygamous marriage, and your complaint is that your son likes to draw with her and prefers her company over yours? What the hell did you think that was going to happen, you dummy? You need to look at this whole situation from the eyes of a child. Going to a comic book store is a lot more fun than going to a cheese store. I'm an old man, and I still wouldn't go to a cheese store. I would be bored out of my mind. Also, stop making your kids choose between you and the girlfriend. That really isn't healthy for them. Look, man, you may want to go to marriage counseling for this. And now for today's second story. My girlfriend just cheated on me and told me that she can't promise it won't happen again. Posted by Reddit user Puzzled Grapefruit.
Hey everyone, I am currently on vacation in Japan, but 2 days into my 13-day vacation, I had my life turned upside down after I learned my girlfriend cheated on me and I don't know who to go to or where to reach out, so I am coming on here. For context, me and my girlfriend have been dating for a little over 3 years now. We met during college and up to this point we have had a great relationship. Yes, we get into normal fights like with any relationship, but nothing even close to cheating on one another. We met in college in Georgia but now have since both been graduated. I currently live in Miami and she lives in Texas. There are some events that have led to her cheating on me last weekend. She has always taken loyalty pretty seriously, but me when we first started dating didn't really care much for it. I was down to do an open relationship, but she made it adamant that she didn't want to. Even though I never did anything with any other woman, I would joke around with her saying, "What if I did? What would you do?" She would always say that cheating on her would be the worst thing I could do to her and she would instantly break up if this happened. The first incident that I didn't make much of. So around 6 months ago I went to visit her in Texas for her birthday. We went to a bar to celebrate with her friends, but she was missing for about 30 minutes. After I start to look for her, I see that she's conversing with another guy at a different part of the bar. Her friends had wanted to go to a different bar at this point, so I called her and she came with me. I asked her what she was talking about with him and she told me, "Hey, do you know how you always joke around about getting with other girls? Well, the guy I was just talking is really hot and I wouldn't mind fucking him." I was shocked that she would say something like after ditching me at her birthday party for 30 minutes. I felt really uncomfortable, especially with the fact that she wasn't joking. I usually am when talking about this, but didn't say much to her since she was clearly super drunk. The next day I talked to her about the situation and I mentioned to her how uncomfortable I was with what she told me last night. She swore to me that it was simply drunk talk and she doesn't even remember anything. Up to this point she had given me no reasons to doubt her. She had been the best girlfriend I could have asked for, so when she was super apologetic about it and assured me it was just drunk talk, I gave her the benefit of the doubt. For the following months I would still casually bring up how that guy made me super uncomfortable that day and I would tell her to please not talk to him or do anything with him. She would assure me that she's just found him hot, but had absolutely no feelings or any intentions to do anything. In fact, she would get frustrated that I would keep bringing up this incident, so I stopped talking about it.
Like a little bitch.
Now fast forward to 2 days ago. I get a phone call from her and she goes by saying, "Hey, I need to tell you something I have been feeling super guilty about. Should I tell you now or after you get back from Japan?" I told her, "Sure, you can tell me now." She broke the news to me that the day I flew to Japan, she got drunk with her friends and saw him at the bar and that he came back to her apartment and they had sex. My heart dropped. I asked her to send me the text chain and in the text chain between her and him, it was clear how she was the desperate one, kind of begging him to have sex with her. One thing to keep in mind is that she barely if ever initiates sex with me. I always have to do it and she's almost never down. She always says she is tired and tries to gaslight me with the reasoning my sex drive is low. But in the text, she's clearly begging him to have sex. He even asked her to pay his Uber to come to her apartment and she agreed. Even after this though, she was adamant that she still loves me and how last night was a blur and that she's super regretful about what happened. Obviously I was really mad, but I told her fine, we can still maybe continue this relationship but promise to never have contact with him again. She said, "Dude, and I have lots of mutual friends, so I can't just stop coming in contact with him." I then said, "Fine, promise to never flirt with him, have sex with him, or even touch him ever again." Her response was, "What if I still want to be friends with him or want to hug? I'm sorry, but I can't promise that." I then said, "Fine, can you promise to never have sex with him again?" Her response was the worst I had ever felt about our relationship. Her response was, "I can't promise that. His sex was really good. It happened once already, it might happen again, who knows?" The thing she said that hurts the most is when I told her we have to break up if she can't promise to not have sex with him again. Dude, I don't want to break up with you and he is not interested in having sex with me again. But if he does become interested again, I might cave in. I couldn't believe the things she just said. I said, "Fine, let's break up, but I want to talk to one of your friends about what you're doing, to see if I am being unfair to you or you're being unfair to me." I think this is the moment it hit her that what she's doing is unbelievable. She went on to beg me to not tell anyone. I told her that I will respect her wishes and not tell anyone.
Everything you say to me is pissing me off.
After I agreed to not tell anyone, she broke down and told me she fucked up big time and she doesn't want to lose me over this situation. She promised me she will never drink again or talk to any guys ever again, even in a friendly manner. She has vowed to change and keeps apologizing to me about everything every 5 minutes. She keeps saying she feels guilty and is ready to do absolutely anything to keep the relationship going. I'm torn about this. I need some advice. I love this girl immensely, and outside of what I just went through on this, she's been nothing but kind and loyal to me. What should I do? Please help. I am losing my mind.
Young man, I don't exactly see why you're so confused about what to do. She basically just admitted that she's just keeping you around because he won't commit to her. Have some self-respect, break up with this hoe, and tell all your friends and family exactly why the two of you broke up before she could start spreading lies and make you look like the bad guy. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.